I, I'm sure all of y'all have heard of A-Trip and all the paving that's been done the last year in the state, throughout the state. A little over 300 million, I believe, just this year alone in paving. And the Alabama Asphalt Pavement Association awarded Houston County an award on County Road 22 in their two-lane resurfacing category. So this is really a big deal. As far as I know, no other counties have this award. So our guys did a good job on this, and I just wanted to recognize them. There's a lot goes into these projects. It's not just show up and pave. I mean, there's preliminary design, carrying it through the state, then you got to get it awarded. There's paperwork, there's inspection, there's shoulder work, striping, the whole 9 yards. And this is everybody that's responsible for this stuff. And Brittany and Meyer are two assistant engineers. They handle a lot of the administration on the projects. Veronica Goins, she does the design work on all of our projects. Wade, Rusty, Danny, and Josh do the inspection on all the projects. Ashley is over all of our outside work. He does all the shoulder work, grassing and all that. And that's another thing. No other counties do their own dirt work on their projects. So we're able to put our money into asphalt, and then we take our forces and our equipment and do our own shoulder work. And, you know, we have an excellent staff at the county. It's been that way a long time. Going to stay that way, and they really deserve recognition, and they do an outstanding job, and we stack them up against anybody in the state as far as the counties go. So I just want to thank y'all, and good job. And
Item number 4, request to approve the preliminary plat for the second addition to Liberty Park subdivision.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Battles.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Shoup. Discussion. Any questions? Comments? Yes. Anyone want to address the commission today? Come forward and state your name. Right there. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Shelley Brown, and I'm a homeowner. I live at 206 Paul Revere Run. I'm in a unique situation because I also work with the builder and developer as well as being a homeowner at Liberty Park. We have a couple of concerns. One of them being we paid a premium lot at our location. We were told that our lot would always be a tree line property, have a little bit more of a privacy setting versus being backed up from fence to fence or house to house. And we feel with this new development that that's going to be taken away from us. So we're asking if we can impose a 50-foot barrier or buffer with some trees to maintain our view as well as our privacy for all of those on that back row, back line area. We're also concerned about the road that's going to go back to that second phase. It's going to go between two homes, between 204 Paul Revere and 138 Paul Revere. And the way that the existing road is on Amaris Avenue, it's quite wide, so if it continues to be the same width, it's going to be very, very close to both sides of each home. And on one of those homes, there are small children, and there's no fence there, so there's a concern with the children being in the backyard, now having a road that backs up to their back. How is that going to affect their safety? And our other concern is that the HOA guidelines that are in place, that those be maintained with the same minimum square footage, the brick that is supposed to be on the homes. And we also would like to try to enforce which floor plans are actually going to be built back there, because a couple new plans have been surfaced or brought to our attention that may or may not come to fruition. And the amount of traffic that is now going to be increased in our neighborhood. We currently have about 85 homes in there now, and so that's going to take it up to like about 115 homes roughly, give or take. And right now there's just one stop sign at that location, so our suggestion is to make it either a two-way stop or a four-way stop, because now you're going to have traffic coming in all four directions. That's our concerns. I also have a petition where other homeowners on that same road have all signed this and are in agreement to this as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Shelley Brown.
Shelley. Okay, any questions for her? I will tell you, is the developer here? Okay, all right.
Again, he's my boss.
Who's your boss? Well, I won't go there. Okay. All right. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
You can sit.
Thank you.
You want to make comments? What I don't want to do is get into back and forth, but if you want to make some comments, and then I'm going to ask Engineer Kirkland to tell us what leeway we have. Come on to the podium. We are here to approve a preliminary plat, and
Yes.
all we can do is what our subdivision regulations allow us to do. You know, traffic and those kind of things, I don't know, you know, that really doesn't fall under our subdivision regulations. Those are things that you and those three individuals right there would need to work out. So after you're through talking, I'm going to call on Engineer Kirkland to tell us what options we have under our subdivision regulations, because that's all we have per options. We don't have planning and zoning and all that in the county. All we have are subdivision regulations, and so the only action we can take is what is included in those, if that makes any sense. So, comments? Well, go ahead and state your name.
My name is Ryan Chrysler. I'm the president of Chrysler Homes South, and the Liberty Park community has always, there's been throughway set aside for future development there, and these individuals on that street have always been aware of that, and you know, they've always had a free reign of the back 40, so to speak, but now it is going to encumber those, you know, their lots. So I can understand maybe some frustration. We have agreed to add trees, additional things to create a buffer zone, a buffer there, and that buffer, you know, was the only thing that was ever spoken or agreed to in you know, in the previous sale of the thing. There was never any area or designated area as such. So if there's any questions, you know, I don't know where this meeting need to take place or whatever, but anyways, it's been a great community. And the other thing is that all the other properties on the sides, you know, and so forth in the neighborhood, those parties had their lots butted up to the neighbor behind them as well. So, you know, there's, in all fairness, those people don't have any designated 50 feet or whatever on their backside of their lot, you know, as well. So.
Right. Okay. What I would say to you and to you all, is whatever action the commission does take, if, and I wasn't there, so I don't know, but if there was some discussion about trees and whatnot when their lots were sold, I would just ask you to get with them and try to give some, you just said that there's some buffer in these plans, is that?
Brittany, have you?
I mean, I don't know, but, you know, if that discussion took place, then certainly, you know, you're a developer and you want to do what was said, then, you know, you want to try to have that in there. Maybe look at the intersection they're talking about and see, to me, in my mind anyway, going from one stop sign to two doesn't seem like a big deal, but I'm not out there. So I guess what I'm saying is, if we approve this, would you just sit down and listen to their concerns? And
Absolutely.
see if there's something that can be worked out? Because the things that are said, I don't think are within our,
I mean, we're there to make sure that it's built to our standards and design and drainage and all that. The homeowners and, fences on the back and all that. We don't look at that kind of stuff. I mean,
Those are planning commission functions
Right.
that you're bringing to us, and, if we were in the city of Dothan or city of, I don't know who, Cowarts or whatever that has planning commissions, those are the kind of things that are discussed at planning commissions, but we don't have any planning or zoning out in the unincorporated parts of the county, unfortunately, and probably couldn't get it if we wanted it. So subdivision regulations are there, as the engineer just said, to make sure that the subdivision is built to the proper standards. It's really not to dictate the design of the subdivision as long as it's built to the proper standards. Having said that, as I just said, I would certainly encourage you to, sit down with them, and I've met you before, and you seem like a reasonable man, and I would certainly ask you to sit down with them and try to address, particularly if they were told that, there should be some buffer there, sit down with them and try to address that and the traffic concerns and anything else they may have.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir, Mr. Battle, Commissioner Battles.
The driveway that she was referring to, Ryan, the driveway she was referring to, was that always in the plan? That's the way you were gonna get back to that back property?
There was a designated 60-foot lot there. 30 feet would, be the road itself. And then the setbacks would, be down through. There are two houses on the other side of that 60-foot zone there. So that's the two houses they're talking about there. If they said, well, that section there needs a privacy fence or, something like that, those are the kind of things that we would entertain helping with at, possibly our cost and so forth, so.
Mr. Chairman, I looked at
Commissioner Shue.
the plat at the admin meeting, and I saw that designated area was set aside. So to answer your question, it always was there as far as I know. And just for my, education, our subdivision regulations, they really, the primary focus of that is on the quality of the road, right? Make sure that
That's
we don't
right.
get a substandard road. We don't have any regulation over lot size or building or anything like that, do we?
We just, we want to make sure that the base is compacted, the subgrade's compacted, the right amount of asphalt's put out there, the proper curb and gutter, drainage, width the road, stuff
So
like
we don't get a
that.
cheap road that we have to then go
Right.
there and spend a lot of money.
Because it's ours to maintain after the
2 years.
time frame. So,
Right.
that's what those regulations are there for. Not to govern the subdivision itself.
Which is a planning, you see the planning commission, that address those kind of things all the time, but we just don't, quite frankly, don't have the authority to do that if we wanted to, unfortunately.
Thank you.
Or fortunately, whichever way you look at it.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comment from anyone else?